Hello, everyone, and welcome to our channel. I'm Mark.
And I'm Rob.
Today, we're going to talk about Tyreek Hill getting detained right before the football game the other day and the footage of the body cam that was just released. And hey, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. Hit that notification bell. We just went over 4,500. We're going for 5,000 now. We need your help. If you like the Green Bay Packers, subscribe to our channel. If you like Kate and Clark, subscribe to our channel. If you like the Cleveland Browns, subscribe to our channel. Just subscribe. Just subscribe. So right now, I want to take a second here to thank all our viewers and all their support that's taken place since we started April 5th. So thanks for them. And then, share the wealth. Share our videos, please, with other people. We can get up to 5,000.
We appreciate your comments and just watching our videos. That we really appreciate that. So thanks out, big thanks out to you guys.
Support is well appreciated by us. Okay, so for background purposes, I am still an active criminal defense attorney. I do that part-time, and I work on this channel full-time. And I've done criminal cases and traffic tickets. So I know a lot about this topic. I've done it for 30 years. I know a lot about this topic. And I will tell you right now, as soon as I saw the incident and heard about it, the first thing I said was Tyreek Hill didn't cooperate. And the second thing I said was the cops overreacted. And lo and behold, of course, that's what happened. Yep. It was crystal clear in time what was going to come out. It was just a question of matter of degree on how much he didn't cooperate and how much they overreacted. So here's what happened is they pull him over. You can see the footage now. And he wouldn't roll his window down. So he's going to the game. I don't know if he's late or not. He's supposed to be there 3 hours or 2 hours before the game. And it's obviously closer to get to the stadium, the more crowded it is. But apparently they said he was speeding in a congested area. That's why he was pulled over. I'm not doubting that whatsoever. Then you just pull him over because he was in an expensive car. And then the cops say, roll down the window, and he refuses to roll down his window. And they ask him again to roll down his window, and he refuses to roll down his window. And then the cops say, I'm going to ask you to get out of the car. And he goes, matter of fact, get out of the car right now. And of course, the door wasn't locked. So that was good that Tyreek Hill didn't do that. And then the door gets open, and the second cop just yanks him out, puts him on the ground, and handcuffs him, which, of course, is totally – pardon me?
Knee in the back.
Yeah, knee in the back, which that's trained technique, supposedly. They put the knee in the back.
Okay, you lie on your stomach, which is a bad position anyway. And let me put a knee to your back also.
No, I'm saying they train them that way. It's my understanding. They train them to the knee in the back so they can get the hands on so they keep the body down so they can get the hands on the cuffs.
That's excessive.
Not names on the neck. Names on the back. No, it
doesn't matter. That's excessive.
I'm just saying, it's my understanding that's part of the training is to put the knee on the back so they can get keep the body down so you can get the arms up and put the handcuffs in. That's my understanding. I could be wrong, but that's my understanding. But either way, there was no reason to put him on the ground. They can just say, turn around and put your hands up against the car. And then when his hands are up against the car, they reach up to his hands, put him behind his back, and handcuff him. That's all they had to do. There was no reason to put him on the ground. Zero reason. However, Tyreek Hill was a liar. Okay, this is what Tyreek said. He said, I was very respectful. I just put my hands on 10 and 2 like my uncle taught me. I didn't swear, which is irrelevant that he didn't swear. And I handle everything appropriately. The first thing I do is I turn off my engine and make sure the radio's off, and I don't reach for anything. And when the cop comes over, I roll down the window and I keep it rolled down. And I have my license, registration, and my insurance, which is all in my wallet. I don't keep it in my glove compartment, so I don't have to reach it. And that's what I do. And I don't say anything. I don't do anything. I don't move. I don't reach for anything. I don't do anything. And I'm white. Okay. So I don't do anything. I just, whatever he says to do, I do. I've never been asked to get out of the car. But if I did, the first thing I do is, sure, officer, I'll get out of the car. Okay. Oh, actually, I did. And a suspected DUI, which I didn't. I passed the test. Okay. So the officer asks you to get out of the car, I get out of the car. I listen to everything they say and I do everything they say. And guess what? I've never been arrested. I've never been handcuffed or anything like that. He didn't do that because the cops are there for their safety. Okay. There's all sorts of incidents where cops approach the cars and there's guns in the car and they get shot. You just sit there with your hands on your steering wheel or in your lap or whatever, and you and do everything the cops say. They don't know what you got in your car.
So then they asked him to get out of the car. They opened the car door and yanked him out. They opened the car door and yanked him out, which you shouldn't have to do. And then they handcuffed him. My question is, why are you his reasoning behind him being handcuffed? If you heard him, when I tell you to do something, you do it, and that's the way it is, and that's the way. No, that's what you should.
I can
follow.
tell you what they're going to say, Rob.
Why the handcuff? Like you said, why are you handcuffing him? It was a traffic violation. Why are you handcuffing him?
Because he wasn't. What was incorrect is there was no reason to pull him out of the car. Mm-hmm. That was wrong. You didn't need to let him get out of the car by himself. There was no reason to put him on the ground. All you had to do is say, get out of the car. And when he gets out of the car, say, put your hands up against the car. And then you can handcuff him, search the car, and see if his license is valid and everything like that. Give him the ticket and things go on. There was no reason anything to happen after that, Rob. So the cops were completely wrong.
No, I'm everything you said is correct. But my only point is, why are you putting me in handcuffs? Am I a threat to you now?
I just explained to you, Rob.
Well, no, the officer was pissed off.
I'm going to tell you, Rob, that it's probably police procedure in that circumstance when they think there's a danger inside the car because the person isn't cooperating. It's okay to put them in handcuffs. I'm just telling you, they have certain policies and procedures that they can do.
Well, that procedure is not correct. And also you could tell he was pissed off, and that's why he put him in handcuffs.
I agree. Obviously, the cops overreacted. But I'm saying when you have a person that's not cooperating and then you tell them to get out of the car, what's the whole point of getting them out of the car if you're not going to handcuff them? Okay. You've got to get control of the situation. And that's why you handcuff him. But you can just handcuff him in a nice way. The guy's not a threat at this point just because he wouldn't roll his window down. So first of all, they need to let him get out of the car by himself unless he won't refuse to get out of the car. They didn't give him a chance. I saw the video. They just yanked him right out. That was wrong. It was wrong to put him on the ground. The knee in the back, I believe that's what the proper procedure is in order to get the handcuffs on. You might not like it, but it wasn't the knee on the neck. It's a big difference.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, like if you're lying, if no one's natural position is to, you could lie down with your hands facing and palms up, but to lie down on your stomach with your hands behind your back, you're already submitted already. You don't need to have a knee in your back.
Well, he didn't submit it. They submitted him.
Yeah, they sure did. They to complete your act, they didn't need to add the knee to the back. So he already put his hands behind his. He was complied. He was right. He did comply in that part. But yeah, and they threw him on the ground. But
I'm telling you, the reason they handcuffed him wasn't just because they wouldn't listen to what he says. He wouldn't listen to what he says, and they made him suspicious that there was something in the car that he was hiding. And it could be drugs, it could be a gun. And for their own safety, they handcuffed you because this way it's harder for him to get away. If he's not handcuffed, he can run away easier, Rob. And then it escalates to having to use their stun guns and everything else. So if they put him in a handcuff, now he won't try to run away.
They can't always assume that. They can't always assume.
Rob, they have to do it for safety procedures. I don't have a problem with them.
Mark, they have. There's three of them. They have guns. They have everything, like you said.
Rob, but there's certain procedures they do because you can't go into the circumstance like, okay, and this, if you got two instead of three, you don't handcuff them. You can't do that. There's certain rules and procedures that police officers are trained to do in traffic cop situations to protect their safety and to make sure that the person doesn't flee. Okay.
But also,
I don't have a problem with the handcuff.
But also, as a lawyer, you know that people have rights too. There's a Fourth Amendment right also, right? That they have to follow, which they don't. There's a Fourth Amendment right where
they weren't searching at this point, Rob. They were merely handcuffing them.
Isn't the car in the Fourth Amendment? The car is just like your house. You can't come drag me out of my house like that. You just violated my Fourth Amendment.
Well, we haven't got to that. We haven't got to that part yet, Rob, and whether they can search the car or not.
No, I didn't say search. I said drag me out of my car. That's violating
they shouldn't drag him out of the car. There was no reason to do that. I just said that was wrong. But Tyreek, right? Yeah,
he was. Yeah, you're right. When we both agree, so we both agree on that part. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they were idiots, and he was an idiot up to that point. Okay, let's keep going.
You may think as a layperson it wasn't right to handcuff him, but I'm telling you that when they don't handcuff them, things have happened in the past that allowed the person to escape or for it to escalate or anything like that, or if their safety's at risk, because they don't know whether he has a gun on him. They don't know if there's a gun in the car. They don't know if the drugs are involved in this. He was trying to hide drugs. They don't know anything. All they know is he was trying to hide things. That's what it looks like. Zero reason for not roll it down after he was told twice to roll it down. Zero, Rob. If I was a cop, I would be very suspicious of the person at this point.
Well,
Okay,
you'd be
that's what I'm
suspicious.
saying.
Would you be that angry though? You seem really
No,
pissed off.
that's why I'm not a cop, Rob. A lot of cops are
Yeah,
angry.
that's why I'm not a cop
Half
either.
of them became cops. Half the cops became cops because, Rob, they're bullies and they want authority and they didn't have the ability to get a job where they had more authority. So
Right.
You can read into it
You're
whatever
right.
you want.
Yeah.
That's my impression. The other half of the cops just want to do the right thing. A lot of them are corrupt, because they always protect each other. But still, no, of course not, Rob. They were, tough guys. I'm in charge here. Don't challenge me. We know what just happened. That's the overreaction part. And then later, Rob, he's by the sidewalk, and he says he has just had a knee operation, and they push him down on the ground. I think by the back of the neck. Just push him down. Totally unnecessary.
They told him to have a seat, which I'm that's what I'm dreading, Mark. The same thing. I have a bad knee, but the one point is I'm not a dog. Sit. Have a seat.
There was
Sit
no
down.
reason he didn't have to sit at that point, Rob. He wasn't a threat to escape. Maybe it's part of the procedure. You have him sit down. I don't know.
It's not a procedure. It's a control thing. Total control, cop control thing.
Yeah, they could have put him in the car. They could have put him in his car if they really wanted.
It's not even a valid police regulation that you have to do that. It's not in their code book where you have to sit down. It's not in their code book, whatever.
I have to see. I have to see their whole procedural thing, Rob, which is probably pretty long in terms of the traffic cop thing. But be that as may, you don't have to shove a person down by the neck. It just was totally unnecessary. Give him a chance to sit down. I don't even think it's necessary for him to sit down, but
You're right.
They got him in the coat. So I don't even know. I know that he didn't have his seatbelt on. That was wrong. They gave him a ticket for not having his seatbelt on. And they gave him a ticket for careless driving. So originally, I heard he was speeding and reckless driving. And then I heard he got a ticket for careless driving. That was generous because reckless driving and careless driving are very related. One is just more severe than the other, which is reckless driving. In Pennsylvania, you get a reckless driving ticket and get convicted of it, you're going to get a 6-month suspension and 5 points. Careless driving, let me finish. Careless driving is no suspension and 3 points. So it's a lesser charge than reckless driving. So he was lucky he got careless driving instead of reckless driving. Go ahead,
So
Rob.
now my question is, so with reckless, the distinction between what is reckless driving? How is that determined that I'm being a reckless driver compared to a careless driver?
It's more severe. Your behavior is
But,
worse.
I mean, you're saying as a police officer, I was doing a reckless driving. What is that? What terminates me being a reckless driver?
Reckless driving is very dangerous to everybody around. That's what reckless is.
So
you were driving in such a way that was dangerous for everybody else. So it's reckless.
You mean like weaving in between traffic and stuff like that?
It could be anything. There's not an exact definition.
So it's kind of subjective. Yeah. So it's subjective if I was
right. So it's careless. It's subjective too.
Yeah.
So, but one's reckless is worse, and he could have got a ticket for speeding. I don't know, but I think the area was crowded, and so they gave him a careless driving ticket instead of speeding, because maybe he was only going a little bit over the speed limit, but it was still too fast for the conditions. Just like when you're going, say, 5 miles over the speed limit, when it's pouring out and it's at night and the roads are slippery, that could be careless driving. They could be too fast for the conditions.
Right.
So it's all subjective. Right. But I don't know what he was doing, and I don't know whether he deserved a speeding ticket too. I think they cut him a break if all they gave him was careless driving, because they pulled him over because he was doing something wrong. He got got the least amount he could get. Careless driving is the smallest offense he could have got, other than a speeding ticket, say over 10 miles per hour, which is similar, at least in Pennsylvania. That would be similar. That'd only be 2 points over.
Now,
get to 10 or more.
Now let me go into you explain what you do when you get stopped. Now let me, and I'll tell you I've been stopped from the black perspective. And it is a race thing and it is a black perspective.
I understand it's a different.
Well, wait, let me finish. So when I get stopped by the police, I'm like you. I put my hands on the steering wheel. I roll down all the windows. I roll down all my windows. I turn the car off, turn the music off. And unfortunately, my license is in my wallet. And luckily, now the insurance cards are on your phone, so you can show on the phone the insurance card. but my registration is in my glove compartment. I, being a black person, I tell them my license is in my wallet. I asked him a question, can I reach into my pocket to get my wallet? He says, yes. My registration is in the glove compartment. May I reach in my glove compartment to get my registration? Yes.
With a glove compartment, I would do that. I would ask, but I don't keep it in my glove compartment.
No, I always ask.
Yeah.
And I reach for it, and then because I got stopped here for a U-turn, and that's what I did. It was a rental car too. So I just did everything that he said. But I've been stopped before. Like you said careless driving or reckless driving. When I was in California, I bought this brand new Ford Escort. The really fast car, the Ford Escort, 4 on the floor. And I was driving home from the city. I lived in the East Bay, and they pulled me over. I did the same thing. And what I usually, when they asked me, they pulled me over. I put my hands on the steering column, and he said, "Oh, you don't have to do that." I said, "Oh, yes, I do." I said, because I don't want to have my mom flying out here, my family flying out here saying that you saw something or I flinched and you had to do something. That's why I'm putting my hand on the steering column. Yes, I do. Yes, I am. And they looked over the car, but they stopped me just because they thought I probably had stolen the car. I know that. And unfortunately, in this society, the difference between you being stopped and me being stopped, it seems to be where the police officers are a little more hyped for being stopped as a black person. Now, and this is, I don't know if this was his case. He was wrong what he did. He told you everything he said. I totally agree with you. He was wrong with the window. But also, there's that, and I've heard about the Miami-Dade County Police, and they have the worst. I was doing research on it. They are one of the worst as far as everybody. Anybody what color, they're the worst in the country.
Plus, they're obviously not Dolphin fans if they knew who he was.
Yeah, that's what somebody said. It must have had Hill on their fantasy fantasy pick. That's why they wanted to stop him. But it sucks because even anywhere. So I'm a young black man driving a very nice car. They're gonna put how can he afford this car? He must be either one, a drug dealer, because he can't afford this. He's black. How could he be driving this really nice car? Unfortunately, and that's what they think. I'm sorry. And I've had friends who are police officers in San Francisco. I'll tell you a real quick story. I was in our hospital in Rochester, General Hospital, visiting my stepmother. And then when I came downstairs, there was a bunch of police officers with their shotguns and guns out. I was like, whoa. And this female officer runs up to me and says, "Can I pat you down?" Now, I know you as a lawyer, I could say no, right? I could have said no, right? And refused to, because they're like, "Why are you coming up to me, pat me down?" I could have said no. But I saw how hyped up they were, and I have the shotgun facing me.
Well, I heard in one video that they said his license might have been suspended. I Googled that, and I have not found that his license was suspended. In Pennsylvania, at least Philadelphia, when your license is suspended or you don't have insurance or registration, they can impound your car.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was lucky that didn't happen if that was the case. But he didn't get it. He didn't get a ticket for driving with suspended license. So I don't think his license was suspended. So I think that's inaccurate information because I can't imagine them not giving him a ticket for that.
Right. Also, his teammates got arrested, got put in handcuffs.
I saw that. And he pulled over at an angle. They told him to give him his license, and he kept staying on the phone. It wouldn't give him his.
Wait. So he pulled over, and he was far away from the scene, and they came over to him. They said, "Move the car." Yeah,
it was kind of on an angle too, though. It wasn't really. Yeah. And then he kept being on the phone, and they asked for his ID, and he wouldn't give it to him at first. He kept hesitating to give him the ID.
He doesn't have to.
Well,
he doesn't have to. Where's the car? Where's his RAS? Where's my reasonable articulate suspicion?
I don't think his car was in a legal spot at that point, Rob. So
he was telling him to move on, move his car, move on, or you'll be arrested. Arrested for what? What is your reasonable? What is your RAS to have me show my ID? I don't have to show you my ID.
When there's a situation going on, and a person's in handcuffs, it gets considered like a crime scene to them. and they don't want people there because it just complicates things.
Well,
So
he
they
was
don't
far
want
enough away, though, Mark. He was far enough away. He wasn't. The guy had to run. The police. I saw the video camera. He had to run at least over. He had to run all the way down. And this.
Right.
And I
I'm
can
not
tell
saying
you,
he should have been handcuffed or anything like that. I'm merely
no.
saying there's more to it than the fact that, you know, he wasn't in his face or anything like that. They tell you to move on, move on. You know, even though it was down the road a little bit, they don't want anywhere near the situation and complicate things. They want
Well,
to get everything under
you have a right to film. He was filming it. He was looking. He's looking out for his friend.
Well, not if you're parked illegally.
Well,
I
then
don't
he could.
I don't
Well,
think
he
he was
could
in a
just.
legal spot the way he pulled over like that, but I don't know
Well,
for sure.
yeah. Well, that's what he did. He came up and says, "You have to move your car, or I'm going to arrest you." What do you mean arrest me for?
Right. Well,
you can give me a ticket. You can't arrest me. What the?
These cops have a control problem.
Well, I already told you they're very. This is not a first time incident, and this I mean the thing I agree with Tyreek Hill. What was it if it was me or you? If it was me, you think I would have? And there was nobody filming. What do you think would have happened?
No, but that's the thing with that's why body cams are so great, because the cops know they can only do so much wrong now. They can do something wrong, but they can't do what they used to do, which is like arrest you for no reason or pull you over for no reason, which is what they used to do to black people before.
Their job is to enforce the law, and your job is to get your butt home and go to your game and do all that. Just go to the game. But I mean, he should have just did that. And you know how, like you know how. I mean, it's like the bully or somebody. You know how this person is. If you know this person's a jerk face, which they are, you know the police are not very going to be nice to you because you're black, whatever, and you're in Florida, and they have a reputation for that. You already know that, so you should comply. It's almost like when we talk about refereeing. You know this referee sucks. So if you know the referee sucks, you're not going to stand up and start yelling because you're going to get technical foul, no matter what you say.
No, when you get pulled over, you want to get moving as quickly as possible, and so does the cop. So if you make it easy for the cop, you'll get out of there with the least amount of damage and as quickly as possible. As soon as you start giving the cop a hard time just because you're a jerk, which is what Tyreek Hill did, then things escalate. And then the cops can overreact. And then, yeah, they're wrong for overreacting, but you brought it upon yourself to put yourself in that situation. To sit there, you know, with his hand, where his hands can be seen, with his window kept rolling down. That's all he had to do. That's not very much, Rob. I don't care I don't care if he was green,
right,
colored skin. That's all he had to do, and he couldn't do it. He's heard where traffic cop situations has escalated where the person had a gun before. He knows if he rolls up his window, they can't see inside his car. He knows this.
You're 100% right, Mark. You're 100% right. I mean,
and then he lies about it. I didn't do anything wrong. Yes, you did. You did plenty wrong.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. Yeah. And yes, sure. Everything was all overblown by the cops. They obviously have a massive control ego problem, authority thing that's going on. And, you know, if they did something wrong by procedures, and if I'm wrong about the knee thing, which I don't think I am, then they'll get in trouble for it.
Right. Like I said, when that story I was telling you, I got stopped because I made a U-turn. I didn't see it. I was just moved down here. They have the U-turn sign. So I made a U-turn. They stopped me. I talked. I guess where I was going. I was actually going a couple of blocks to the doctor's office with my wife in the car. So, and then, you know, that was it. Like you say, took my license and whatever and all the papers. And then somebody said, "No, just be careful. Don't do that again." And I'm like, "Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm just new down here. I just moved down here." So, and that's what you do. I mean, you know, just cooperate. It's not really that hard.
Well, to Tyreek Hill. And you know what? He said, well, if I wasn't Tyreek Hill, who knows what would have happened? Well, I don't think this had anything to do with whether he was Tyreek Hill. And in fact, the reason he felt he could do with that kind of stuff that he was doing is because he was Tyreek Hill. So the fact that he knew he was Tyreek Hill might have led to him being overconfident in terms of the behavior that he took place. So maybe that was the issue, is he thought, I'm special, I'm Tyreek Hill.
They both were pissed off. He was pissed off that they had the nerve to stop him. You know, and then they got pissed off because of the way he was reacting. So yeah, they both were acting like jerks. They both act like jerks. And they overextended it. But he should have just, like, you know, oh, I got pulled over. Oh shoot, I'm sorry, officer. No, just go on your way. Go to the freaking game.
I didn't even get into Tyreek Hill's credibility problem. He's had domestic abuse charges. He hit someone I think in a bar.
Mm-hmm.
He's also said he could beat Noah Lyles in the 100, which you can't. And he also, Rob, he has 10 kids with 4 or 5 different women. It's unclear whether it's 4 or 5. So
Right.
I don't even get into his, his whole background and stuff like that. He's not a perfect person.
Right.
So, but that's not even the issue, because that doesn't play into really how the cops treated him. The cops were just pissed off because he wouldn't listen to him.
Right.
And that's what happened when you don't listen to the cops.
That's right.
I can't look into the Hispanic men's mind going against, a black man in the car, whether that had anything to do with the race, had anything to do with any of what took place. I can't look into their heads.
It's the whole police department. They're the police department. Miami-Dade is notorious for doing, like I said, not just black, everybody, no matter what color you are. They've been really rude and jerks.
Well,
what's up with that?
And I'll make it clear, it isn't part of police procedure to drag somebody out of a car. Okay, that's not part of the police procedure either. It might be police procedure to ask me to get out of the car and handcuff them, but that's not part of police procedure. So there was no reason to do that. I don't think there was almost like no hesitation whatsoever. And guess what? He opened up the door, so it wasn't like he had the door locked on him.
Yeah.
What was the reason why you had to yank him out of there? I didn't understand that at all.
He violated his Fourth Amendment right. That's like being in a house. You can't if I open the door, you can't drag me out of my house. Same thing with a car. So,
yeah, that was the second officer that did that. The first officer was one that said, matter of fact,
there was one, but that's what I mean with the officers, like you said. Why didn't the other one, like, hey man, calm down? They don't do that. It's like, oh, hey, chill.
No.
Like I said, right off the bat, when they had his license, they go, it's Tyreek Hill. You can hear him say it, it's Tyreek Hill. So maybe
all they can do is say, get out of the car. He gets out of the car, turn around, handcuff him, ask him if he can search the car. If he says no, then we got it. That gets more complicated after that. Check his driver's license to see if it's valid and the insurance and registration is valid. Write up his tickets, unhandcuff him, let him go, and say next time cooperate. That's all that had to happen. But the cops overreacted.
But that's all you have to do is, if you get stopped, just comply. But sometimes, unfortunately, with black people who've been stopped, I know even if you comply, they still, like I said, like you saw, if you did all that, they might have dragged them out of the car either way because of the way they're already hyped up. They get hyped up with the car chases. Or if you, that's the first thing my friend told me is when it was a police officer. He says, "Don't run from a police officer. Do not run.
Right.
Because if they catch you, they're gonna beat the crap out of you." He said that.
I know. I talked to cops before. Before there was body cams, he said, and video cameras. They said, "You run, you get a beating when I catch up to you."
Yes.
That's what he said. They told me this. It didn't matter what race the person was, what they were. There was black cops, white cops, black. He said, "You guys run," and I told you, you're under arrest or stay there, whatever. I beat you. I give you a beating when I catch up with you. Not anymore, they said.
Well, even with the body cams, Mark.
What's that?
The body cams aren't really that great either because
at least we saw what took place.
Yeah. Well, no, they turn. I've seen a video where they turn them off.
I know. I understand.
And they fall, and they're not that great. They fall off and stuff like that. And then they edit. They get to edit also too. They get to edit the film.
Well, I'm not sure they're allowed to edit, Rob.
They're not allowed
to. They might get in trouble for that. But I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying if there's something missing, then there's an investigation and all that kind of stuff. So if you think Tyreek Hill did something wrong, subscribe to our channel. If you think the cops did something wrong, subscribe to our channel. If you like Caitlin Clark, subscribe to our channel. If you like football, subscribe to our channel. Just subscribe. We're going for 5,000. We need your help.
Hey, what about the games coming up?
What's that? The game? Yeah. Hit that notification bell when you do. And the game is tomorrow night. Is going to be at 7:30. The Indiana Fever against the Aces. We don't think Asia Wilson is going to play. She's in a boot. We'll see what happens. Could be precautionary. She hurt her ankle. So we'll find out. That is at 7 o'clock on NBA TV on Wednesday. And then Friday is 7:30 on ION. So join us for either one of those games or both, hopefully. And if you like this video, hit the like button. And if you want to donate to this channel, you can with super chats and super thanks down below. And there's a link to PayPal. And we'll see you in the next video.
Peace out.